Good morning, everybody. My name is Tina Emery. I'm the co-chair of the National Network of Parent Care Forums. It gives me great pleasure to introduce firstly Nadhim Zahawi, Secretary of State for Education.
I'm delighted to be speaking at your conference again today, just short of 4 months since I last met with you in December. My first ever visit as Secretary of State was to a further education college in Barnet to see some of the brilliant technical apprenticeships on offer for young people with SEND. It was a privilege to see firsthand and of course an excellent introduction to my role as Secretary of State for Education. I recognise that giving up your time to be here isn't easy. Many of you are continuing to feel the impact of the pandemic and the increased cost of living, which we are working across government to address. I promised to publish the SEND review in the first 3 months of this year, and I can confirm that I'm standing by that commitment, and I will be publishing the SEND and alternative provision green paper for consultation next week. Minister Quince will be saying more on that shortly. Parent carer forums and the variety of other parent groups we have spoken to have provided invaluable input to the SEND review. This has really influenced and shaped the proposals you will see in the coming green paper. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely thank you for this vital contribution. I promise that we will continue to engage with as many of you as possible throughout the Green Paper consultation period and beyond. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I hope next time to be with you in the flesh.
Thank you, Minister Nadhim Zahawi. Now we've got Minister Quince on the line. Minister Quince, would you like to come and join us on screen?
Hi Tina, hearing you loud and clear.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to our day 2 of our conference. It's a bit of a weird day 2 because it's a sort of a continuation from like November, December. So it's a bit of a weird one. But thank you for joining us this morning. I'm just going to hand straight over to you because you know exactly what you're delivering this morning.
Thank you, Tina, and warm greetings from a very sunny London. And good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me along today to speak to you all about how we deliver for children and young people with special educational needs and disabilities. And look, I'm so pleased to be back with you today as the Children's Minister, and I always enjoy and value hugely my engagement with parent carer forums. And as you know, I was appointed as Children's Minister. I have to say it is without question the best job in government, but I was appointed during the pandemic, and what I've seen from children and young people with SEND, their parents and those delivering education and care on the front line is nothing short of inspirational. But I think we recognise that the pandemic has exposed and to some extent exacerbated the pre-existing challenges with the Sen System. And I know that many families are continuing to feel the impact of the pandemic and wider societal issues, including, of course, the rising cost of living, which, as the Secretary of State has said, we're working across government to address. Unbelievably, it's been 6 months since I was appointed as Children's Minister. I think 6 months and 1 week. And my priority since coming into office has been the SEND review. And the review covers the SEND and alternative provision systems and has sought to understand the challenges that children and families face in accessing support to meet individual needs. And the reviews also set out to look at the roles and responsibilities of all those supporting children and young people with SEND and in alternative provision from 0 all the way up to 25 years. And the review, when published, and the Secretary of State's given the game away there now as to exactly when that will be, and I'm pleased to say it will be next week, will set out what has been creating these challenges within the system and set out a clear plan to deliver improvements to make sure that every child gets the support that they need. And over the course of the review, I and officials have listened to a wide range of people from across the Sen system, including children, young people and their families, schools and colleges, local authorities, health and care providers and voluntary organisations. And it's been brilliant to get out of London and meet people up and down our country and hear their views, their thoughts, their hopes and their aspirations for their system. And we've listened really carefully, and the work of parent carer forums, Contact and many other parent groups we've spoken to has been absolutely invaluable. And my genuine, sincere thanks to Tina and Runal in particular for their vital role as members of the Send Review steering group, helping us to get this into the right place. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to the local parent carer forum in Birmingham for supporting improvements alongside the Department for Education and our appointed commissioner. And it's great to see improvement happening in the here and now. So as I think Tina sort of alluded to, today I'm here to share some of the things we've heard that have helped shape our conclusions. And I'm pleased to say the review and our response will be published in a green paper. So what is it? It is in essence, a consultation document that gives people in and outside of Parliament the opportunity to feed back on our proposals. And as I say, it's going to be published next week, but this doesn't stop me from sharing with you today some of the key things that you can expect to see in it. So the first thing to say, just talking more broadly about the green paper, is I want this conversation to be an honest one. You deserve nothing less. And we know that too many families have struggled to get the support that their children need. I've heard that loud and clear from people up and down the country. And I know that many of you might be sitting here with your own challenges right now, ones that cannot wait for system reform to take place. And I want to be absolutely clear that we're continuing to invest in and work on improving the Sen system right now. The government's investing an additional £4.7 billion into the core schools budget by 2024-25, and we're increasing the high needs funding by a further £1 billion, taking it to over £9.1 billion in the coming financial year. And that builds on the £1.5 billion increase over the last 2 years. Now, there's also a further 2.6 billion, and this is really game-changing in my view, 2.6 billion secured in the spending review of capital funding to expand the number of special school places. But I've thrown a lot of figures at you there. Despite this unprecedented investment, the system has become financially unsustainable, with many local authorities in financial deficits. And we need to make sure the resources that we do put into the system are used well, and importantly, result in improved outcomes for children and young people with SEND. Turning briefly, if I may, to the 2014 reforms, I think they did set admirable ambitions for a joined up SEND system across education, health and care, one that supports children and young people from early years through to further education and then on into adult life, with a strong emphasis on effective co-production with parents and carers. And at the root of this reform was a genuine desire to make improvements for families. But as we're aware, though, and having spoken with so many parents and carers and young people, those reforms have failed to deliver sufficient improvements in children and young people's outcomes. And sadly, too many parents and carers, and this is the bit that pains me, have lost confidence in the system. And we've got to put that right. Too many children and young people who need support, they face delay and bureaucracy, leaving families deeply frustrated. You know, too often decisions are made based on where a child lives, not what they actually need. And for too many families, the system becomes unnecessarily adversarial as they struggle to get the support that their child needs and deserves. So that's what this review has been all about addressing. It's what I'm passionate about addressing. And I want to be honest with you, and I said I would from the start. The review cannot wave a magic wand that will solve everything overnight. But what it will do, it will set out a roadmap for change, and I genuinely hope, that you'll see it as a significant step in the right direction. I'll talk a bit, if I may, about consistency. That there is real inconsistency within the system, both in how needs are identified and in the support that families receive. Children with similar needs living in different parts of the country experience different processes and receive different support. Well, look, that isn't right and it isn't fair. So we're going to tackle that inconsistency so that children with SEND attending schools in Bath are receiving the same support as children with SEND in Blackpool, so that children living in Lincoln and London get the needs identified and met in the same way. So our objective is to equip providers wherever they're located with the skills and resources they need to provide high quality support for children and young people with SEND, and you'll be able to access the support you need wherever you live in the country. Now, at the heart of that is going to be a transformation in mainstream. Now, we all know, I certainly know, I've got 2 young children myself. Every child is different. And our early years settings, schools and colleges are educating children and young people with a hugely diverse range of SEND. And we've heard that most parents want their children to be educated in their local mainstream school, near their homes and within their local communities, just like any other child. And we too want children with SEND, wherever it's the right place for them, to be able to thrive in a mainstream school. And we're taking steps to make it easier for them to do so. And the school's white paper will set out a clear vision of the school system in which every child and young person can fulfill their potential, of course, including those with SEND. Now, I have to say, though, I'm also alive to the fact that parents don't always have confidence that their child's needs can be met in mainstream settings. And that's why it's so important that we improve mainstream provision. And you can expect to see, in fact, you should expect to see nothing less than fundamental proposals on how we'll do this as part of the Green Paper. And this will include a much stronger emphasis on how we propose to build a more inclusive education system and how we incentivize schools and colleges to really deliver on this for children and young people with SEND. But having said all of that, we know there are always going to be some children with some more complex needs that are going to be best supported in specialist schools. They need that extra support, and that will and must always be available to them to access, bolstered by our capital investment, which I mentioned earlier, of the £2.6 billion for new special school places, which I've mentioned just a few moments ago. If I can move on to accountability, because I've heard a lot from parents and children, young people about accountability. You've told us that the current system doesn't effectively hold partners across education, health and social care to account when they don't fulfill their responsibilities and their duties. And this is a key issue for the review. And as such, you can expect to see a big focus on this in the Green Paper and how we propose to strengthen accountability across different parts of the system. And look, I know, having spoken with so many of you, that this will be a key point of concern for many of you. So when we came to our consultation, and when we get to that point, and it will be a minimum 12-week consultation, I hope that as many of you as possible will let us know what you think of these proposals. One thing I promised from the very beginning, and I meant it, I have been throughout this process and always will be and will continue to be in listening mode, because meeting children, young people, parents and carers and hearing from them directly is one of the best ways for me to then make the best choices about how we improve the system. Now, as I said at the beginning, I want to be honest with you, I'm not going to make promises that I can't keep. So I can't promise that the Green Paper will have all of the answers you're looking for, all that everyone will agree with every single one of our proposals. When we can't agree, choices, sometimes difficult ones, they've got to be made so we can move forward. But what I will say is that I have listened, and I'm confident that our plans will lead to changes that benefit you and your children, especially as we'll continue to co-produce these plans with you so that you have your voices heard at every step of the way. And I want to assure you that co-production remains a core principle of the Sen system. So I absolutely promise that everyone's voice will be heard. And what I can pledge to you today is that my door remains open to hearing from you, and that as long as I hold this post, I will make it a priority to meet as many of you as possible. Now, when the Green Paper is published next week, as I said, a full and accessible public consultation will begin. That'll be at least 12 weeks. And I sincerely hope that parents and carers, children and young people, and everyone and anyone who works in SEND will engage with it and tell us what they think. That's so, so important. So to that end, we're organising a national event with NMPCF and Contact, and alongside regional events to make sure everyone knows that we want to hear from them. And we've decided on a consultation timescale that recognises the importance of the Green Paper. So as I say, it will be at least 12 weeks so that every single person who has a view is given a chance to comment. Tina, I've probably spoken for enough, but thank you so much for inviting me to be with you all today. It's been my absolute pleasure to be here with you. I hope next time we'll be able to do it in person. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And I genuinely look forward to seeing you all again and hearing your thoughts on the Green Paper once it's launched next week.
Many thanks, Minister, but I will hold you to that when we do our face-to-face conference, which is hopefully going to be in from September onwards. We haven't got a date planned, but it'll be probably around October time. So I'll hold you to that. And I've got witnesses. I've got over 100 witnesses. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for taking the time today. And we look forward to working together in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you very much to those who attended today. We've got 93 people on the call currently. Apologies for the slight technical glitches of people unmuting themselves. And thank you very much for taking the time today. I know you're all busy and hopefully you'll get to enjoy some of the sunshine today. Thank you very much.